What up, everybody? It's your boy Sack the King up in this motherfucker, man. Back with another life story. As y'all can see from the title, this story is the first time I took ecstasy, right? But what I need y'all to do is hit that subscribe button below so you can be the first to know and help the channel grow. Now, I appreciate every single person who's took the time to subscribe because it's free. I appreciate all my returning viewers, all of my new viewers. What I'm going to be doing, if you haven't watched any of my other videos, is I'm going to be giving away $100 to my 1,000th subscriber. I'm going to be giving away $1,000 to my 10,000 subscribers, which that might be in the future. But hey, if y'all keep hitting that subscribe button below so you can be the first to know, help the channel grow, engaging in the comments, liking, sharing all my shit, hey man, put me in that algorithm and we can go up together. You feel me? Anyways, man, yeah, this is the first time I took ecstasy, man. Now, I've never been like a person who's been into drugs and nothing like that, or nothing. Like I've always been a weed smoker. You feel me? And you know, when I was in the Army, I didn't smoke no weed, but I mean, I sold a lot of weed. That's a whole nother story for a different day this month. That'll probably come up. Anyways, but being in the Army made me an alcoholic. You feel me? Like I had a bad drinking problem, and some of these stories that you hear, it was the result of alcohol, being young and dumb and full of alcohol. And the drinking age in Germany is 18. So I moved to Germany, which I'll get into a whole story about that another time. But I moved to Germany like maybe a month to the day, damn near, after my 18th birthday. And I ended up being able to drink, which in, you know, America, you got to be 21. But in a country like Germany at that time, shit, I think you could be a little younger than that to drink. But anyways, it was 18 for the Army. So fast forward, I get out the Army, right? But mind you, while I'm in the Army, I'm selling weed and ecstasy, but I never tried that shit. I never took that shit. But I used to always remember people would be so fiending for that shit. Like they used to act like this was the greatest shit on earth. And I used to just never understand because like I didn't do that shit. You know what I mean? Like I used to just be like, nigga, I want the money. Like I'm after the money. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, man, I remember this is like 2003. I came back from Iraq. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother story too. I got 1,000 life stories, bro. I'm telling you, I've lived a colorful ass life, man. Been through a lot of shit, did a lot of shit. As y'all will see, if y'all keep hitting that subscribe button below, be the first to know and help the channel grow and keep up with your boy, man. Anyways, so I remember coming home from Iraq, man. It was a really stressful ass time for me. I didn't know anything about PTSD. Now, mind you, I went to Iraq in 2003. I was a part of the first wave of soldiers who went to Iraq. So, you know, we seen all the fucked up shit. And, you know, I'm coming back. When I come back, now I'm married at the time, right? So when I come back from Iraq, soon as I come back from Iraq, now mind you, my daughter was born 2 weeks before I went to Iraq. When I come back from Iraq in September, because I got out the Army because of just the shit I dealt with while I was in Iraq and in the Army, my ex-wife was still in the Army. She got deployed. So, and that's part of the reason why our marriage ended up being fucked up too, amongst other things. But I will get into that in a whole nother segment of this channel. You know what I mean? But I remember her getting deployed soon as I came home. You know what I mean? And we have I don't even think I was even old enough to drink. I did 3 years, 3 months, you know, and wasn't even 21 yet, you know. So I think I'm like 20 at this age in 2003. I'm 20. And I got a fucking 6-month-old kid, and you know, I'm stressed out. I had PTSD. I didn't realize what PTSD was for years after that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm saying all that because it was a really stressful ass time in my life. You know what I mean? So I remember, you know, the way that I used to deal with stress would be to go to the club, get drunk, and all this other shit, right? So this just happened to be one of them nights where I'm in the club, I'm drunk, I'm hanging out with Lil Mikey and Bobby Cash and all them. My bro D is still deployed in Iraq. So I'm in the club and I'm hanging with homies, you know, and I'm like, shit, I'm out the Army now, but I got hella bands saved up, you know what I'm saying? And I hadn't quite got back into the game yet as far as like selling weed or ecstasy or nothing like that, right? So I remember being in the club and Mikey's still doing his thing in the club. He ain't never stopped because Mikey wasn't in the army or nothing. He was a German national. You know what I'm saying? So, I remember this is like my first time going to the club since I came back from Iraq because like I said, I had to take care of my child. So I wasn't in the club out there like that. I just wanted to be home and be with my daughter and kind of make up for lost time because like I said, she was born 2 weeks and then I was deployed 2 weeks after that. You know what I'm saying? And but I remember, some of my army friends that were still back in Germany at the time, that I was really close with, they was like, hey man, you need to go out. You need to go do something, man. Like we can tell like you're really stressed out. So they offered to watch my daughter. So I go out this night, right? So I remember me and Mikey, we in the club and nigga, the first ecstasy pill I took was a white Mitsubishi. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all remember them pills. Now, mind you, the pills at this time were called ecstasy, but it's really Molly. You feel me? It's really pure MDMA, which I tell y'all that because when I moved back to California and I took ecstasy, it wasn't the same. Like that shit had a whole bunch of other different shit in there that I just was grinding my teeth all damn night and staying up like a fucking zombie. It never gave me the exact, I mean, it made me feel good sometimes, but it never gave me the feeling that I had when I was taking ecstasy in Germany. You know what I'm saying? And what I've come to realize all these years later is that really them pills in Germany was like pure MDMA, you know what I mean? So you getting the full experience that a person should have when they're taking ecstasy or nowadays what you would call Molly. You feel me? So I remember being in the club with Mikey. Now, prior to me coming in the club, right, I came in the club and I already know I'm getting drunk off top, but I remember seeing this badass bitch, man. She was like an Arab looking bitch. And I remember exactly what she had on. She had on a Brazilian outfit. And what I mean by that is she had on like the Brazilian top. It was green and some yellow pants. You know what I mean? And I'm like, hey, I'm getting on her. You know what I'm saying? Like she the baddest thing up in this motherfucker. And it was Saturday night at Black Sounds. I remember that shit like it was yesterday, right? So I already had that in my mind when I came in the club, but now we in the club, I'm getting some drinks. Me and Mikey is kicking it. And I remember Mikey's over here serving and people's like, yo, I need that. Or yeah, hey, you got some? And I'm like, bro, what the fuck is up? Like, I never understood, even when I was selling the shit, before I went to Iraq, I never understood like what the big deal was. So tonight I'm feeling myself. Like alcohol is the gateway drug. It's not weed, it's alcohol. Alcohol will make you do some stupid ass shit, bro. Like alcohol will open you up, most people, to trying new shit, to doing whatever. You feel me? So it just happened to be one of them nights. And I'm like, Mikey, man, give me one of them shits. And he like, you want one? Cause none of us took that shit. We just sold the shit. You know what I'm saying? I think Mikey might have tried some a few times, but he was like, you want one? I'm like, bro, let me see what the hype is about. Like, let me see what the hype is about. He's like, hey, I got some good ones too. Like, these is them white Mitsubishis. Them shit's been selling like crazy. So I'm like, yeah, give me one of them things. So I remember I popped that shit. I was like, how long does it take? He's like, man, probably about like 40 minutes. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I popped that thing, I'm in that bitch and I'm waiting for it to kick in. And I'm like, bro, like, they tell me like drink orange juice. So I'm drinking orange juice, you know what I mean? And I stopped drinking alcohol. I'm drinking orange juice. And nothing happened. And I'm like, bro, I don't think them shits is good. He's like, nah, bro, these shits is good. Like, you tripping. He was like, bro, you kind of bigger. So maybe you might need another one. You know what I mean? He's like, here, just take another one. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah. But by this time it's been like 45 minutes, damn near an hour. You know what I'm saying? So he give me another one, right? And I remember this like it was yesterday. So it seemed like soon as I popped that pill and I swallowed it down with some orange juice, boom, that shit hit me. That shit hit me like boom, right? I looked at Mikey, I said, nigga. He said, what's up? I said, nigga. He was like, you feel that shit, huh? He was like, I told you. I said, nigga. Like, still to this day, it ain't been too many feelings of euphoria that I had like I had when I first took ecstasy that first night. You know what I'm saying? Like now, I done had plenty of good nights off of ecstasy after that, but this first night, I was like, nigga, I'm about to get on every bitch in here. And that's what it seemed like I did, bro. Like, nigga, I remember coming up out the club with like 5 numbers that night. But, nigga, while I'm feeling myself, I said, oh, remember that bitch that I was telling y'all about that came in the club? I said, I'm on her. And she was sitting down. Bro, I walked up to her and, you know, it just seemed like everything I said to every single bitch I talked to, including her, was just like the greatest shit ever. Now, mind you, I'm a handsome ass nigga at the time anyway. Like, you feel me? So it was never nothing for me to pull bitches back then. It still ain't nothing now. You know, I got $1 million mouthpiece. I can charm and disarm the best of them. I'll talk a motherfucking leopard out at spots if it's standing there and talk. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, it just seemed like everything I said to the bitches was like the greatest shit on earth, my nigga. Like, it was like the greatest shit on earth, you know what I'm saying? And I ended up getting a girl number, you know. I don't remember none of them other, I remember one of them girls that I got, and I'll tell y'all in a minute because I've already told this story. If you go back and watch I got pussy on the fluke, this was that same night, you know what I mean? Times I got pussy on the fluke, where I was walking out the club and a bitch just was like, I was like, what's up? Where you going? And she was like, shit, with you. Go back to that story and watch that story. And this is that same night, right? So anyways, back to the story. I talked to so many bitches. I got all their numbers, you know what I mean? But this girl, this one that had on the Brazilian shit is the one that I wanted. She ended up being from Pakistan. Her name was Gina, you know what I mean? She stayed in Wiesbaden. I remember this shit clearly because me and her ended up, you know, kicking it a while after this night. But I just remember I wanted her so fucking bad, and I got her number, and I talked to her damn near the rest of the night after I had already got like 5 or 6 numbers before I even went up to her. I was like, this is gonna be the last one that I talked to, because I know I want her. I'm gonna put in some work for that. That's what we used to call it back in the day, putting in work, you know what I mean? So anyways, I ended up getting her number, and you know, we ended up, you know, being cool, you know, going out and shit after all this. But I remember that first night I took that ecstasy, bro, like, nigga, that was like the greatest fucking feeling I had ever had. And like, nigga, I was just, you know what I'm saying? Like in my zone then, you know what I mean? But yeah, like, it was crazy. It was crazy, man. Like I said, man, that shit was like real Molly. So if you ever took some real Molly, that's how I felt. Like, and then it seemed like I couldn't even go to the club for like a whole nother year without taking ecstasy. I wouldn't take that shit daily, like during the week, but as soon as Friday, Saturday came, oh, I was popping me one because I knew it was on. You know what I'm saying? And I used to always have the best times off of ecstasy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just enhanced my experience in the club way more than Hennessy ever could. You know what I mean? And, yeah, like I said, that same night, you know, I didn't get to leave the club with the girl Gina that I talked to, but I got her number and we made plans to meet. But as soon as I walked down the stairs, I'm like, what's up? I was just seeing a little German chick looking at me, and she's like, shit, what's up? I'm like, where you going? She's like, with you. And if y'all go back to that time that I got pussies on the fluke video, you know, this scroll on down, you'll see what happened with that, you know what I mean? But anyways, man, yeah, that was just a story that I remember because I used to take ecstasy like every fucking weekend after that. And you know, shit, it was the shit, you know what I mean? Back in the days, the early 2000s, that was like the golden age of taking ecstasy in Germany. You know, I don't know how it is now. I ain't popped no pill. Like I said, I ain't been into drugs ever in my life like that. And even when I moved back to California and I took ecstasy a couple of times, it just wasn't the same. So I just never fucked with drugs or no ecstasy, or if you want to classify that as a drug, ever again. You know what I mean? And this is at a time too when I moved back to California in like 05, where Mac Dre had just passed and everybody was on them thizzles. You know what I mean? Like, everybody was on ecstasy back then. But like I said, I knew what the real ecstasy felt like in Europe as opposed to California, where it seemed like they were putting like speed in that ecstasy or something, because niggas would just be grinding their teeth up, walking around like some zombies and shit. And you know, that just wasn't a feeling for me. You know what I mean? It just wasn't like that other feeling that I had and I remembered. So, yeah, man, this is the time that I took ecstasy, man. And it's crazy because I used to have the funnest times at the club. Like, it just enhanced the experience for me, man. And we had a lot, a lot of great nights after that. You know what I mean? Yeah, between 2000, the end of '03. Well, no, I won't even say the end of '03 because shortly after that, I ended up going back to California or back to Louisiana to visit my family for like 3 months, and I didn't come back until January. So from January 2004 all the way to August 2005, those were some of my greatest club times, even though I was going through a lot of fucked up shit, which I'll get into some of these stories. A lot of serious shit, a lot of fucked up shit, but man, them club days after that, from January 2004 up until the time I left Germany in August of 2005, hey, it was lit as fuck, man. It was lit, and I used to bag bitches all the time, and it just seemed like I already had game. I was already a handsome ass nigga, but it just seemed like the ecstasy just made it 1,000 times more. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, man, don't do drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs, adults. That shit ain't good for you. You feel me? Smoke some weed, and that's it. Sip a little alcohol if you need to. But anyways, man, I ain't gonna make this story too much longer, man. That's what it was. You know, shout out to Gina. She's still one of the baddest I ever... Hey, she's still one of the baddest ever in Germany, man, at that time. Like, she knows what's up if she ever see this video, which I doubt, you know what I mean? But anyways, man, it's your boy, Sack the King. Hit that subscribe button below so you can be the first to know and you can help the channel grow. Because trust me, I got a lot more stories coming. King.